Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, That Weeb, here with another episode of What If Deku Could Use Chakra as his quirk. Last episode, Deku has shown that he has the abilities to use the Shadow Clone Jutsu, the normal Clone Jutsu, nothing else yet, but he's been seen working at some scrolls and working on some stuff. As well as he now has Hagoromo's Six Paths Chakra, which he doesn't know how to use yet, but Hagoromo passed it on to him, both Indra and Ashura's chakra. Since after Chakra stopped being in humans, he had to reincarnate, and Deku had chakra, so he has both halves of Indra and Ashura. We'll get back to that. But anyway, Deku now walks into his UA High first exam day. He walks in hoping to be confident and puts on a brave face. When he walks into the building, he opens the door just a tiny bit, just a crack, and then he hears instantly arguing and yelling. He walks inside to see Katsuki Bakugo, his best friend Kachan, of course, and Ida Tenya, the kid who told him to not talk to Uraraka in the training exam. So he walks over and greets both of them, and Bakugo tells him to shut up, nerd, and he can't even believe that he got into UA. Then Ida looks at Deku and says, "Oh, hello, you were super fast, and it was so cool to watch you use your quirk, and how does that work, actually?" He begins to question Deku, who begins putting his hands up incredulously as to try and avoid this conversation for now. Then Uraraka walks in the door behind him, and Deku turns around and waves. Uraraka says, "Oh, right, what's your name again? Green hair boy?" He tells her his name as Izuku Midoriya, and she says that's really suiting for you. Then Aizawa comes rolling into the scene. Naruto instantly recognizing the true mastery of a ninja as he rolls in through his sleeping bag form and declares, "If you don't care about this class, this is a class, stop mingling." Deku, immediately in awe of his beautiful ninja prowess, immediately begins to write notes while tearing up, thinking it's perfect timing. Then Aizawa gets up and tells them that they're gonna be doing an exam first day to see who gets to stay at UA. Deku stops writing his notes. He looks up and says, "What?" Then Aizawa smiles. He says, "Everyone here's quirk is only so good. On a scale of 1 to 10, perhaps one person's quirk is maybe a 5, and maybe one person's quirk has a 12. But hey, who knows unless we try it out. So let's screw that orientation stuff and let's get down to business." He pulls out the gym uniforms and says that they should change into these, then head outside for the exam. Deku changes into the sports uniform and then heads outside. After everyone's outside, they begin their races. First is the 50-kilometer run. Deku uses chakra to amp himself, like what we talked about last time, pushes forward, and actually gets there in about maybe 2.5 seconds, which is pretty quick, actually, compared to most of the other people. So Aizawa naturally thinks that he has some sort of speed quirk. After that, he then sits out for a while and watches Baku and everyone else, contemplating how else he could use chakra to perhaps boost his natural stats as well as other things. It's his turn next again for the long jump. He decides he can use a shadow clone in order to do this one. He creates a shadow clone using the Kagebunshin no Jutsu seal. Then he pushes his feet off, and the shadow clone pushes him and throws him as far as it can, causing his long jump to be 20 feet. Pretty long, almost as long as Suyu's, who has a frog quirk. This impresses everyone, and now Aizawa's getting curious about what his quirk is, because he just saw this kid was super fast, and that he just now made some sort of clone of himself. So what was exactly his quirk? He began to watch him more closely. As soon as the ball throw came up, not the ball throw, let's go back. To the hand grip challenge, Deku does pretty good, about 100 pounds of force, which is maybe half of what the long arms dude can do, which is pretty cool. He does not fail that either, so he's doing pretty decent right so far. Then comes the ball throw. Bakugo goes first and throws it, and it gets the same as the original, 713.2 something. Then it's Deku's turn next, as he's currently 4th, and everyone else before him is gone. Deku walks up to the plate. He holds the ball in his hand, and he begins to push chakra into his hand. Now, at this point, Eraserhead activates his quirk in order to see what's going on. When he does this, Izuku immediately turns left and looks immediately into his eyes, and the only word he can think in his head is one thing: Sharingan. That's what he thinks it is. He sees the red glow in his eyes and immediately wonders if this person is an Uchiha or a Uchiha clan descendant, maybe over hundreds of years, and that this quirk that he developed is basically a Sharingan. He gets a little nervous to see if he can actually see his chakra pass. Eraserhead sees this weird faint glow around him, but nothing else. He can't turn it off either, which is really strange to him. He doesn't even know if it is a quirk. But whatever. He turns it off and tells him to continue, without any questions. Izuku does so, and then he puts all of the chakra that he can muster that he has left in his chakra pools into his right hand. He begins to shake his hand a little as he has a lot of energy charged into it. He then leans back and throws it. As he throws it, he then quickly makes a shadow clone, which he then pushes into the air, who then makes another shadow clone, as they ladder stack on top of each other, leaning towards the ball. Then, at the very top of 38 shadow clones, he grabs the ball out of midair flight and then kicks it as hard as he can, thus causing it to hit a solid 440 meters. Everyone is shocked that he just did this, and if that's even allowed. They then look at all of them as they topple down to the ground, and many of them poof, except for one. Deku gets up and breezes himself off and says that was fun. Then Uraraka goes and gets an infinite throw, causing her to have the #1 score on that test. Everyone's test scores are all put together, and he's impressed with both Izuku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, and a lot of everyone else in the class. He decides not to expel anyone, even though Mineta was the lowest score, and tells them that it was a tactical reasoning. Then he continues to think about the strange reaction that Izuku Midoriya had to his quirk being activated. Izuku then, later that day, goes into his Hagoromo sage, area void to go talk to him. He asks him about Eraserhead's quirk and explains to him how it works. How when he looks at other people, he can, pause their abilities, and his eyes turn red, just like what he knows is to be called the Sharingan. Then Hagoromo, the Sage of Six Paths, tells him that it's very possible that there was maybe one or two few Uchiha or even maybe Senju survivors. He then explains to them about their DNA and how, if Chakra were applied, he could probably unlock some of the latent abilities. And this begins Deku's hunt for Senju cells as well as to gain Uchiha cells. Hagoromo tells him about how he can extract the cells of these two clans, and it will give him immediate and high chakra boosts, as well as certain special abilities. Deku decides that he's not going to do this, as that's not something a hero would do, but he keeps in the back of his mind, as if the need ever comes to it, and he has a need for the power to protect the people that he needs to be a hero, he might have to do something about that. Then he goes to sleep. The next day, he goes to UA, and begins the UA battle examination of All Might. If you guys want to come back next time to see how Deku, now knowing that he can acquire certain abilities if he can find them, fights against Bakugo, as well as utilizing Chakra and some of the new jutsus that he'll be learning. If you guys like this episode and want another part, then make sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want any suggestions below for this editing style, I'm using the paper crumpled background, like someone said. And I'm trying to put some manga panels in the background behind the thumbnail. So if that's working out, then thanks for listening to the end and stuff. And love y'all. Bye.
It's black and white.